All right, it's Craig. I moved to Carmel just 2 months ago to open a gallery called Nomadic. And it's this bridge between the old and the new. We're selling digital art, NFTs, crypto, credit cards, or there's physical art, sculptures. We have a 1914 time clock in there, but we're inserting new things in old devices. Old ways need to end in order there will be new beginnings. So there's a developer in town, but he's not from here, he's from Monaco. Patrice Pastor. He has a heart and a love for this city because his dad came here when he was just 7, and he said it was the only place that he saw his dad happy. He's bought homes on Scenic, he's bought the Hog's Breath, he's bought a bunch of things, and he has a development right across from our new gallery. But this is his other development that he has, and you can find it on his website. There's some amazing plans. I mean, he's developed quite the properties of Monte Carlo, Monaco, London, all around the world. And he's an artist. Just look at, he's an artist. So in this town, if you understand it and you have a passion and you've been coming here since you're 7, you're not gonna make things worse. So his plans are amazing. They've been stalled though. There is this wall, this used to be a bank. The bank's gone, but the wall stayed. And this was built in the 60s, and I'm sure it was a great concrete wall to block all the money that they were storing in the coal mines in the bank. So they built this wall. But twice, it's been deemed non-historic. The restaurant that's there now took down a portion of it, I'm sure, to be able to get approved to be able to do their balcony. And they put a planter box that looks like it's from Home Depot. So there's a city council meeting the other night. There's a city councilwoman, I believe her name's Karen, that says she wants to protect the art. And we're gonna lose Carmel if we tear down art pieces.
And so,
When you cut a piece of art, you don't have the whole thing anymore. So it's time for this wall to go. And to honor the wall, to give it reference to what it was back in the 60s and who did this, the developers offered to move the wall inside the new plans inside the courtyard, and I've offered at Nomadic to place the rest of the wall inside the gallery with a plaque, and you can tell the whole story. The lady from the Monterey Weekly didn't even go to the meeting or watch the whole meeting, but wrote you the news. How does the news get the news? We're fed everything that you consume. It's not news. She got the story. She actually said it was a 5-0 unanimous vote that this wall is now historic. They said to the developer, you can build here, but you have to keep the wall and you have to push back your plans 5 feet. Because if it's a historic wall, you need to pay tribute to it. So if you just peek in here with me, we've brushed up a couch that looks like it's from Wayfair. Pushed up against what they're trying to tell me is the Mona Lisa. We've got fire, we've got all these elements here that this current situation isn't paying any tribute to this wall that they convinced the mayor. The mayor fell just, he dropped quicker than Joe Biden does walking up a set of stairs. He just said, okay, it's historic. One of their things about this being historic was that this flows all the way down into the concrete. And they said it's just amazing how, I think it's gum. I actually think this is just gum on the ground. There was a lady who came to the council meeting and said they cut down 5 trees in my backyard, and they didn't do anything for her because it's the wrong meeting. But we're protecting a wall while we're cutting down trees. There was another meeting later that night that people showed up for that talked about more towers from cell phones coming into Carmel. I said trees don't like 5G, and someone else said flowers, not towers. These meetings are important. So the offer, move parts of this to Nomadic, move the other parts in the courtyard, and let a beautiful development from a guy who knows beauty His canvas can be Carmel. Don't be scared of outside European money that's gonna, like, allow it. Let it go. We have an exhibit. I'll walk you over to Pneumatic. Because I've never been to a council meeting. I spent 4 hours. I went to the planning meeting the next night. I care about this town. I came from Venice Beach where nobody cares about that town. I just met Dale from Carmel Cares. He said, great job at the meeting the other night. And he was the first person to sign in support of moving the wall. If you've been to Pneumatic for the last month, you've seen Logan. He's got the crazy hat, the dreadlocks, the long hair. He had the little dome chairs, and he had a piece called the Imperfectly Perfect. Patrice walked in one day, and he sat through and he heard all Logan's stuff. And then we went to Sadie's, and we caught up with him that night. He gave Logan his personal email. He said, I want to invite you to Monaco to create something for my country and give it back to them. I had to convince Logan to come to Carmel. It wasn't hard. It was like, hey, there's this place. I know it's not known now for art because they're holding on to things, but come to Carmel. It's going to change your life. He said, Craig, I've been there. I've been for Car Week. Logan's dad runs a big oil company out of Texas. They know all the car people. They know all this crowd. Logan was the first guy here, and he was the last of the artists to leave. He stayed 45 nights. He sat in that gallery every day, and he talked to so many of you that are watching this video right now. He was selling his piece for $7 million. That's what we're doing here. We have pieces in our gallery that are free, we have pieces that are $200, and we have something for $7 million. Because when I met Logan in Waco, he said, I left Art Basel.
Next one.
I snuck my way into Art Basel, convinced a guy that had a spot to come to my van to see my art, and he said, you can exhibit 2 pieces. He sold one for $57,000. Then he got an offer for $85,000 for the Heart Hatter piece. And Logan asked the guy, why do you want it? He said, because you're going to be big, man. And this is going to be worth a lot. Logan packed up the piece, put it in his van, and he drove back to Waco. And for the last 2 years, he's been hiding in this crazy barn, making art. And I met him. A wild week. I said, I'm going to call you one day with a room, and you can sell your art for whatever price you want to sell it at. So he brought that piece here. He put it in the back, and he put an asking price of $7 million on it, because that's what it meant to him. And I watched him walk into City Hall on Tuesday night with the piece and give it to the city of Carmel. For it to be in the city of Carmel, he gave it to Patrice. He said, how do I pay somebody back for an offer? An offer like that. I'll leave you my most valuable thing I've ever created. The Bible's all about sacrifices. It's all about offerings. It's all about, hey, one thing has to go, but there's something new. To hear the council people talking about art, like they hold the conversation around art in this city, I'm sorry. I'm standing across now from the oldest art gallery in town. Carmel Art Association, I think 1927, I want to say, or 17, a long, long time. They've got activities, they've got stuff. It's still, Friday night was booming here. There was a lot of walkers, there was a lot of gray hair, and guess what? Then afterwards, some of them walked in and they came over. Let me go check this thing out. And as they walked into our space, look, we got old things. We got a clock from 1914. Remember these time clocks? But we put some digital art in it. What's an NFT? Well, it's actually just a moving image. It's digital moving art. That's what it looks like. If you want this, or you want the Polaroid, but if you want that, I can show you how great that could look. Oh, I want my TV back, says no one to these black and white TVs. It's cool to look at, but man, no, we're in a new day and age where I can airdrop a file to that screen, or it can be connected to the internet, or all this art can be generated by AI. Hollywood's on strike because we're scared of AI. Yes, they should get better deals. My son's an actor. I've been in that game for years. Like, they should be paid. Don't just use their image and manipulate it. But guess what? There are plenty of people that want to be Hollywood actors, and now with AI, they can insert you without flying you around the world to Iceland like I got to go on my son's first movie. They can just make Iceland in front of you, and that's scary. That's why we have to make sure these things are in the right hands. That's Loopy D. That's Tupac. I got Tupac in Carmel. That NFT comes with a digital image, and then comes with a negative from Tupac's first show in LA as a signed artist. You get the actual physical film. Logan left a message. I don't understand. Okay? I sat and I've tried to understand his art. I've tried to listen for 40 days. I don't know how any of these people create any of this. This is on glass plate Polaroids, and she takes a 1920s camera, but she takes two images and mashes them together, so it has to be digital. So I was like, oh, that should be, because that's the only copy. The two originals are actually, like, that's one original. And then she takes another glass plate, but she needs to make it digital for it to come together. There's things you can do with electronics. There are things you can do, but there are ways that we could go way too far with this. Pay attention to what's happening in the city. The tower stuff is real, but what we're here today is about the wall. You can put on the headphones, you put these on. That's Logan. That's at the city council meeting. He's sharing his heart. And this is what he left, because I said, Logan, if we leave, if you're leaving tonight, he moved out all his stuff. He painted everything back white. And this is why I do what I do. Hey, do you want to mess it up a little bit more? Why did you paint it all white? I didn't ask for that. Leave it better than you found it. Leave a final message. He says, do you want it to be deep or shallow? I said, how much paint do you have? We had plenty of paint, so this took an hour and 45 minutes. I got him to explain it. There's some codes, there's some stories in here. There's a video, there's a ton of things on our website, but what you'll see here is we're just telling you the story. And when you come in here, we'll be available to talk about this issue, to talk about how important it is to not just walk and get your mail every day at the post office next door, to show up to these meetings. Just make sure you watch who you've elected. And we'll break through the agenda, and I'm going to ask you to do something a lot of people don't like to do. Make a decision. By October 3rd, we want to bring votes into the city council. Tear down the wall, which wouldn't be demolishing it, it would be actually moving it to the courtyard in here, or keep the wall, which keeps the developer out. And let me just close with this. I'm next to Toro Sushi. We're open every night till 10 because they're open and there's a crowd. This center has been empty for years. It's the same developer. You know how easy it is to develop one property? Not easy. To do two, it's a lot easier to develop them at the same time, to start that, the plans and all that. And so both of these projects are in limbo with this back and forth that we're giving this guy that ultimately we're just afraid of. This property is going to be done so well. Allow this guy to develop his art here. And let's not be afraid of people coming in to steal Carmel. The people from within might be the ones holding on to Carmel. Be careful of the big corporations, yes. Be careful of big pharma, yes. And the cell phone towers, yes. But a developer who has left his heart here in Carmel, why are we scared of that man? Tear down this wall. Visit Pneumatic through October 3rd. Enjoy it.